All right, we are recording. So welcome, everybody. I am Jennifer Morris, and I have a special guest with me today, Mr. Coach Rob DeBoer. And today, guys, we're going to address something that seems to keep coming up in our space, which is, do ketones, specifically exogenous ketones that we drink, do they break a fast? So maybe we'll start off, Rob, by kind of defining what fasting really is and what its purpose is. If you could cover that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, sure. I mean, by definition, fasting, I think context is what matters most. So the context of fasting, it depends whether it's intermittent fasting, is it extended fasting, is it dry fasting? Like there's all sorts of fasting protocol. I think the context in which that conversation comes up is calories in fasting, right? My question is always, what is our metabolic goal for fasting? Well, within our community, we believe in using exogenous ketones and or endogenous ketone production to enter into the metabolic state of ketosis daily. Uh-oh, hang on, Jen, sorry. And then I think the second thing that we do is we believe in extended fasting monthly. The reason we believe that is because we believe in digestive rest and metabolic reset as a means for metabolic optimization. It doesn't take long to quantify the benefits of extended food fasting, primarily because of digestive rest, but also metabolic reset, depleting stored glycogen from the body, stored carbohydrates, initiating ketogenesis, which a lot of people just simply don't do that. But then the question comes up, what breaks my fast? Well, I would say for the purpose of why we fast, food nutrients would break your fast. And so then the next obvious question is, well, wait a minute. When you guys provide this fasting kit that contains exogenous, outside the body, ketone supplementing into the body, those are calories. Well, technically speaking, if we're going to, brush a broad stroke, yes, any calorie would break a fast, but that's not the purpose of why we're fasting. Versus we want digestive rest, which our supplement doesn't require any digestive absorption or assimilation processes to happen. So we offer digestive rest, but more importantly, we don't require an insulin response. And I think that's oftentimes a lot of the people's primary question is, look, I don't want to break my fast. Okay, well, define breaking your fast. Does that mean I don't want to create an insulin response? Awesome. Ketones will not. Nevertheless, it is calories, but I always ask people, look, consider the greater good of what we're doing. Jen, the other thing that comes up is autophagy or autophagy, depending on where you live and how you want to pronounce that. That's ultimately one of the vehicles, one of the metabolic processes that we initiate from moving food over a period of time. It's the body's self-eating of itself. In other words, it's the natural progression of cleansing and detoxing the body, breaking down stored energy. And this process obviously could be impacted by consumed calories. But again, I say the negligible amount of non-insulin response ketone calories really don't alter our ultimate goal, and that is digestive rest, metabolic reset, and then I would probably even throw in exponential nutrition. Like I truly believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, we can get more from our food. The same plate of food, we could get more macro and micronutrients from that same plate of food when we have better gut health. And that's one of the other reasons why we kind of follow this fasting protocol of 18, 36, 60 to 84 hours.
Cool. So what I hear you saying is that no, ketones do not technically break a fast, because a fast is really designed to do basically three things. Cell autophagy, that's still happening. We're not getting an insulin response from our ketones, so we're not driving up blood sugar, therefore we're not storing that excess energy. 2, number 3, we're allowing our digestive system to rest, which means that when we do eat again, we're actually getting more from our food. I love that. I would, I'm just going to share with you guys personally that before ketones 3 years ago, I was following a very strict intermittent fasting protocol, and I actually was putting on weight. My goal was fat loss at the time, and just to get myself into ketosis. And I was not able to really get there without feeling like crap, putting on body fat. And I attribute that to the fact that fasting is actually can be stressful on an already stressed system. And the minute I introduced ketones into my intermittent fasting protocol, literally like the weight just for me fell off. And it was like the missing link that my body was craving, just that extra bit of energy and lack of stress response from the fasting that allowed me to finally break through that fat loss plateau that I was experiencing. Because, I mean, let's face it, we're all friggin' stressed. And anybody who tells you that they're not stressed, well, A, I want their life, or they're lying, right? So to me, that's something that drinking ketones really made a shift in my life. And especially like women my age, like almost 50, like it's huge. It's hard to lose body fat when you have, no testosterone and your hormones are all over the place. So yeah, really cool. So like
I would also add on top of that, Jen, I don't want people to minimize what is the goal of the body. The body's goal is to survive. Your body doesn't care how you look in a bathing suit, what size jeans you fit, or what the scale says. And so anybody that tells you fasting doesn't create a stress environment, well, your body would beg to differ. And that's what's so important about exo, outside the body ketone supplementation, in to segue through this process of generating ketones by breaking down our own fatty acids, is ketones, when present, will be used by the brain. So the first course of defense, your brain isn't focused on what energy your muscle has. Your brain or your body is focused on what energy source will power my brain. And that's what I think is important. I also don't want to minimize what these calories come from. Like, this is a macronutrient source. Beta hydroxybutyrate is a quantifiable caloric nutrient. In other words, it's a nutrient that you can't get from food, that now, thanks to smart people at the US government, Department of Naval Defense, have been able to engineer, that allows the body to consume a nutritive energy source that creates ATP, fancy way of saying adenosine triphosphate, fancy way of saying cellular energy. In other words, your body is then fed these ketones. But for all of those people that say, well, wait a minute, consuming calories breaks my fast. Okay, technically yes, but for how long? For the period of time that it took for your body to assimilate 45 calories, which is one serving. And I don't want to make light of that. Your body, just to survive, just your basal metabolic rate, just for your brain to think and your eyes to blink and your heart to pump and lungs breathe, it goes through caloric energy quite quickly. So the 45 calories are negligible if we're really trying to understand what is the metabolic impact of just 45 calories, knowing the primary source of those come from ketones that will be utilized by the brain if they're present in your body, which they are.
Yeah, so cool. I mean, it totally makes sense. And plus, like, think about it in another way to think about it too, is that you're consuming those calories when you're fasting, but you're actually doing more. So you're actually in a deficit because you have more energy. So you're really not, being worried about those extra 45 calories, to me, is ridiculous.
And take it a step further, Jen, like so many people, myself included, like we talk about ketones. First of all, this is the only naturally fermented source of ketones that you can consume. And it's exclusive to prove it. There's multiple patents that protect that. But I don't want people to stop there. Fermented leucine. Leucine's a ketogenic amino acid. When levels are high in the body, in the blood, it initiates this program called mTOR. So imagine your brain turns on a program that says preserve and protect muscle. And then finally, a third component of our formula. So it's not just ketones, it's these three primary ingredients. It's called CMED 100. It's proven clinically to repair DNA. And what that simply means is your brain can communicate better with your body even how to handle this fasting protocol, right? You know, so if we can all agree fasting puts stress on the body, well, wouldn't we want something that can help the brain communicate with the body how to better handle that stressful situation? So this goes so much beyond ketones. I love the use of the word synergy, which means 1 + 1 = more than 2. Well, ketones alone are great. Fermented leucine, a ketogenic amino acid, is great. It's a building block of skeletal muscle mass. CMed 100 is great, but when you combine all three of those, especially in a fasting metabolic scenario, it's incredible what the body is then capable of. So all of these components we call autophagy or autophagy or self-cleansing, cell detoxification. What if your body was actually better at doing all that because of the 45 calories of ketones we're consuming?
Exactly the point. Yeah, I love it. You know, and I think really just to kind of wrap this up, because I really didn't want to go too long here today. I just really wanted to get to the point, which I think you've done a great job. So thank you. I think the reality of it is, like, the statistics are 88% of the United States population, which I'm sure is the same in Canada, you know, is metabolically not healthy. 88%. That means only 12% of people are walking around out there with the ability to burn glucose and fat equally, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, let's face it, like, if there was something that could shift that number even more percent, like, that has a huge impact on the health of our population. It has a huge impact on, you know, healthcare costs, on life expectancy, on quality of life. So I think when we start to get into the nitty gritty of these and people start saying ketones break your fast, like, guys, most people are not going to go and fast for 60 hours anyway. And if we can provide them with a tool that helps them to be able to do that, to flip the metabolic switch, I'm like all for that. But so, yeah, I don't know if you have any final words, and then we can finish off.
Well, I would just tell kind of the people that are on that side of the fence that are just all about calories break a fast, calories break a fast. They're missing the point. Like, I would agree with you. Calories break a fast, no matter if it's from an avocado, an orange, an apple, ketones, it doesn't matter. Calories break a fast. But it's, what is the purpose of your fast? I would argue it's metabolic optimization. And for the masses, metabolic optimization is now made possible because they're capable of doing an 18, 36, 60-hour fast on a regular basis. In fact, that's what we've seen anecdotally. You can't fool this many people. It started with 3 people. It turned into 300, 3,000, 30,000. Now over 103,000 people are participating in our program. And the answer is why? Because of what we initially sought, which is digestive rest. We want to create better gut health. We want to create better brain to body communication. We want to create the intangibles. Go through a 60-hour fast and you're going to learn the difference between appetite, which is emotional, we eat because of our emotions, habitual, we eat because it's a habit, or residual, we eat just because we always ate breakfast, we always ate lunch, we always ate dinner, versus, say, hunger. Hunger is actually listening to the brain and the body speak to you saying, hey, we have hunger pangs, we're hungry. And it redefines someone's relationship with food, which, look, I would argue there's a lot of people that know better. There's a lot of people that know what causes weight gain and to be out of shape and overweight. But the missing component is compliance. If there's one takeaway, drinking ketones daily and putting the body into ketosis, fasting monthly, is a formula for everyone to create better compliance to what they know they should do. They're just not capable of doing it because their body's working against them. So we've got incredible metabolic tools. If people would not just take them at face value, but kind of peel back the layers and understand how the system really works, they'll really appreciate the science and how sound this system really is.
Yeah, I love it. I totally agree. And, you know, if you're watching this video and you want to share it with somebody, please do. The more people we can help, the better. I know Rob and we are about taking people from A to B as quickly as possible with the best coaching possible. Our community is here to support you. So feel free to post this, share it. It's for anybody to see, and reach out to somebody within the Prove It community, Rob, myself, or whoever shared this video with you. We're always here to help you whenever you're ready to get you started. And join our amazing community and get the value that we provide with coaches like Rob, like myself, and all the other people in our community who just want you to feel your best and live your best life. That is our mission, to help, you know, everybody live their best life. So Rob, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for taking time this afternoon to talk with me. And guys, thank you for your attention and tuning in. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Jen.